Hey everyone, this is Rich, Plant-Based Coaches Podcast, joined here today with Dr. Suzanne Fox.
Hey
And we're
guys,
so
how are
honored
you?
to have our guest, Paul Chatlin. He has been the founder of Plant-Based Support Nutrition Group. Did I say that name right? Or is
It's
Plant-Based
it's
Plant-based
Nutrition
now
Support Group?
nutrition support group, right?
no, it's
Yep.
it's plant-based support. That's the name. We changed our name about a couple months ago. It is now plant-based support.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
I've
that.
been following Paul's work for years. He does an amazing job and is based in Michigan, but I think everybody knows who's plant-based about your group nationwide. And I know you have a lot of prominent speakers there as well, and I'm very impressed with what you do. But Paul, can you take us back to what started your journey? Because I know you had heart disease, and I would like my audience to hear about your story first.
Yeah, I would like to share my story. I'd like to share the present, and then I want to give people a couple heads up on health issues that very few people know about.
Okay, good.
So,
Right.
my personal story really started when I was young, around the age of 10 to 11. My family was centered around my dad and his three brothers. And during that 3 year period, all four of them needed bypass surgery. And of the four, the only person to make it past surgery was my dad.
Wow.
So my three uncles
Wow.
passed away, two of them during surgery, one of them soon thereafter.
Mm.
And it
Wow.
changed the dynamics of my entire family forevermore. And then we'll put a pin on that and we go forward. And the forward part is I'm now 67, and at about almost 54, I was at a meeting and I started sweating profusely, and I could not. I excused myself out of the meeting with severe chest pain, and I had to sit in the hallway and wait 10 or 15 minutes, and it finally went away.
Mm.
And I knew something was wrong, but I was hoping it was a one-off situation. And that angina started meeting me every single morning for the next 2 months,
No.
early in the morning. And I would just sit there in bed, wait till it went away, and then conduct my day, hoping foolishly that it would go away. And then it would come back at night for a little bit, and it continued for a while. And it was that one moment where I said, I've got to go see a doctor. So I went to my general doctor, and he heard a heart murmur he had not heard before. And immediately he sent me over that day to his connection as a heart cardiologist. And I went through the battery of tests up to a heart catheter and heart biopsy.
Oh my goodness.
And the doctor came to me at the end of all these tests and said, we're going to schedule a heart biopsy and a heart catheter, but I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. And I'm sorry to tell you, you're either going to need bypass surgery immediately or a heart transplant.
Ooh. Oh,
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's serious.
the heart biopsy, the heart, the bypass, I experienced firsthand. So while it's certainly not the news you want to hear, when he said heart transplant, that really caught my attention. Now, as a
Sure.
person who's deeply in love with his wife, I didn't want her to worry. I didn't tell her anything that was going on. But on the way home that day, I stopped at her office and I said, let's have a conversation. And I explained to her what was going on.
Mm.
And we're in this conference room and she is just absolutely crying. And I was a fool. I should have said something early on, but I didn't want to worry her. I thought it would go away. And her boss came in and saw her crying and said, what's going on? And we explained it to him. He said, stay right there. And he said, give me a little bit of time. Let me see what I could do. Maybe I could help. And that was really what I call the first miracle that was given to me, because in about 30 minutes, he said, I got you an appointment at the Cleveland Clinic. The day before, I was scheduled for my local Beaumont Hospital heart catheter and heart biopsy.
Wow.
Wow.
So we drove out to Cleveland, and I had never been there before. And I walked in, and they assigned me I always kind of get a kick out of it. The director of heart transplant, they took a look at all my tests and results, and they deemed that I needed to potentially get a heart transplant. So they had me under a doctor's care that was the head of heart transplant for Cleveland Clinic, who I had never met before. So here I was doing all the same tests I did about a month earlier, or maybe 3 weeks earlier. They could do it all in-house at the Cleveland Clinic. And then they had me do the heart catheter. And I was fortunate they didn't have it through the groin, but rather through the wrist. So the recovery was pretty quick. And for anybody who's listening, it's more scary than it is painful, the whole heart catheter thing, especially for somebody who had never been at the hospital in his life.
Right.
So during the heart catheter, they put you in twilight. So I'm in and out for the next, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. And I could hear him saying yes, 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 yes. And finally, when the heart catheter was over and a little time passed, I said, well, why were you? I heard you say yes a whole bunch of times. He said, listen, the good news is you don't need a heart catheter, a heart transplant. And that's the good news. The bad news is you need bypass surgery.
Oh.
You have 100% block in your right artery. And the other two arteries are in the 80 percentile. So it's time for a bypass. Now they prep you for the heart catheter in these kind of situations. So literally, they shave you top to bottom and prep you as if you're going to need surgery.
Wow.
And just as a personal side note, I always kind of laugh at this. When four strange nurses shave you top to bottom, you lose any sense of humility you ever had. I have not had it
Sure.
since. It's gone forever. So I'm being wheeled in for bypass surgery. And I remember saying to myself, like you do as a kid, like, hey, God, if you get me out of this one, I promise I owe you one. I'm going to do something to give it back.
Yeah.
We get to the surgical door, and the doctor looks at me and says, I've only offered this to one other patient in 20 years, but for some reason, I think I'm going to offer it to you. If you're willing to make a lifestyle change, we might not need to have bypass surgery today.
Wow.
I immediately said yes. Now, got to remember, I said yes, and I had no idea what it meant. I had no idea what does a lifestyle change mean. I had no idea, but I said yes to it. Within about 20 minutes, he hands me his cell phone, and on the other end of it is somebody who I'd never heard of in my life called Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. As it turned out, my doctor, my cardiologist, head of heart transplant, his mentor in med school was Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. So he knew about Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn's work. Dr. Esselstyn's, it's maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. He says, hey, I want you to go home and I'm going to call you first thing in the morning. Now, he didn't realize I was 3.5 hours from my house and I still needed 2 hours of recovery time. We got home at like 5, and sure enough, at 7:30 in the morning, he's calling me. And he said, I want you to immediately go get this book, read it, and in 2 days, I'll follow back up, which he did. And I now understood what it meant by lifestyle change. I still wasn't really quite sure until I walked into Whole Foods for the first time and spent 3 hours reading labels. But I told myself I could do anything for 60 days, anything. Now, keep in mind, I grew up as I played college baseball. I did powerlifting for a while, played some tennis. I was always active, but I also overate. I didn't care what it was.
I know the feeling.
Double it up and I would eat it. I mean, I just, and I'll show you something that you'll get a kick out of. I keep this with me for a reference. This was me during that time.
What a
Wow.
difference. Wow.
Okay.
Big
That's
difference.
65 pounds less when I was doing some powerlifting. The point here is that I was not a person who enjoyed vegetables, only a handful of fruits. And there I was for the first time ever eating peas, broccoli, beans, and I didn't like one bit of it. But something amazing happened. At about the 14th day, I didn't hate it as much. Now, I will tell you, 14 years later, I don't love it, but I don't mind it. But along with the taste bud change in 14 days, my angina went away.
wow.
So all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm going to keep this going because I feel better. And then over the next 60 days, I lost like 25 pounds and it continued to drop. And, being into the weightlifting side of the world, I understand how to gain some weight and lose some weight, and being 99.9% plant-based, it kind of just gets you to a level and then you stay there as you eat, fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains. So now I was in this recovery mode because I also had a left bundle block, a heart murmur, as mentioned. I had 100% block in my right artery. I mentioned what the LAD and the other arteries were at. I also had an enlarged heart, leaky valves, scarsidosis to the right side of my heart.
My
I was a
goodness.
hot mess. And the only thing they
Yeah.
could do to change things wasn't just changing my lifestyle. I had to be bedridden for 60 days because the heart is a muscle and they wanted me to sleep. And they gave me enough pills, so I slept 16, 18 hours for 60 days straight. And I'd wake up just to cook my food. Now, keep in mind, 14 years ago, I think there were like two cookbooks. There wasn't a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah, there
And
wasn't much.
freely admit, I hate cooking. I don't like cleaning. I don't like, to me, it's just like 2 hours of like time. I just wish I could be doing other things. That all being said, that is all part of that lifestyle change. It's not only accepting the food you're going to eat that you didn't really enjoy, but you have to learn how to cook it, batch cook it, and it changes not only you, but it changes every person in your life. Because henceforward, from that moment on, I was a world traveler up to that point. I haven't done much traveling since. Don't go out to too many restaurants. It's just it's daunting at times. When I take road trips, I don't really like eating out of my trunk, out of a cooler. I just don't like it. And sure, there are vegan restaurants, but I'm a no oil kind of guy, so it makes it tough.
Makes it tough.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't mind saying this, that if I hadn't found a little bit of enjoyment drinking an old fashioned, I probably would never go out to eat because I would just eat the same salad and the same baked potato that I eat almost every day. I just devalued food. Food is something I need to exist, but the joys that I used to have are gone. I mean, there's no plant-based meal I haven't tried to make that I said, oh my God, this is such a winner. I have my oatmeal in the morning with a bunch of fruit. I have a mid-morning kale salad. Then I have kale salad with beans in the afternoon, and I have it every single day. And then occasionally there's a few restaurants here in Michigan that can make me no oil lentils or no oil pot stickers, stuff like that. So I could bloat up on that stuff, but I just look at things differently. So here I was 60 days in, and I started thinking about the promise I made God. And those were the promises that I didn't always keep. But this one I thought I needed to keep. So initially I thought, well, I'm going to go to the Esselstyn cooking class, and it cost $750 for like a half day class. And I got I learned a little bit about how to cook and how to prep. And I took the invoice and put it into Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they denied me. And my whole argument was, okay, let me get this right. You'll pay $120,000 for bypass surgery and cut a check freely for that, but you won't reimburse me for $750. I said, that's my mission. I'm going to work with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I'm going to get them to get a pay code so people like me, heart disease, #1 killer in the world, have that option of learning how to make a lifestyle change and go to a cooking class of some kind of someone who's giving it. Well, I spent the next 2 months as I was still recovering, and I worked my way up to the 7th highest level. And at the end, they said, the only way we can make a change and give you a pay code is you have to work with the Michigan legislature, and they are the ones to work with us in creating that pay code. Well, if people don't know this, the second biggest dairy producer in the United States is Michigan.
Oh,
And I was an hour and a half away from the capital, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. This isn't. So instead, I decided to put a $20 ad in the local paper, and with like 4 or 5 lines, and it's like, hey, I was able to stop, I didn't say reverse, but stop heart disease by changing my diet with a lifestyle change. I've got room for 20 people to come to my house and I'll explain, talk, show, and I'll make a meal for you. Within 2 days, 20 people signed up.
Oh, wow.
And what I'm proud about most is of those 20, 18 of them are still involved with plant-based support today.
That's
You know,
amazing.
Yeah,
and
that's
I said,
awesome.
well, let's do it again. Let's do it the next month. I did it the next month. And again, within 2, 3 days, 20 new people showed up. I'm
Wow.
like, oh, okay, I'm on to something. Maybe the give back is I need to broaden this. I need to make it bigger.
Yeah.
But what I realized was I was learning about nutrition every single moment, every single day, but I'm not a doctor. And I needed to, I could give advice, but I shouldn't, I always have to preface, I'm not a doctor. I mean, I know more about nutrition than any doctor I've met so far. However,
Right.
that
No
doesn't
doubt.
matter. I
No
have to
doubt.
say, I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not a doctor. So, the point is, I said, I need a doctor if we're going to expand, I need a doctor by my side. So I then contacted the head of cardiology at the three major hospitals here in the Michigan area. And I said, I want a lifestyle cardiologist. And it's funny. Anybody who's trying to just have a quick question with a head of cardiology at a hospital, good luck. My messages were, I'm going to call you today and you're not going to respond to me. And I'm going to call you 3 more times and you're not going to respond. But I'm going to keep calling you every day until you give me just 3 names of lifestyle cardiologists that you would recommend. And sure enough, once I said I was going to call him every day and I meant it, I got 3 names. And one name was repeating. It was Dr. Joel Kahn. Now,
Yeah,
understand,
he was
people
on our
know that
podcast.
everyone knows who Joel Kahn is.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. I never met him in my life. But I said, well, since his name was repeating, I will go meet him first. I met him and I never called the other 2 because I was so impressed with him and he opened up his heart to me. And I'm proud to say that while I may not always agree with some of his views, whatever they are, no judgment, don't care. It's his views, not my views. The fact is that he has been a brother to me and a friend to me for 14 years. And that means a lot. I'll always be loyal to him and he's a good man. So I just want to just have people who
It's amazing.
wonder about him.
Yeah.
Keep wondering. He's the smartest man I ever met. So there you have it.
I
Okay.
know he is. Yeah.
He was
All
on
right.
our podcast. He's a wonderful guy.
He really
Yeah.
is. He's so smart. He's so knowledgeable and he's my friend. So I'm lucky. So we decided we're going to have it at Beaumont Hospital, our third at that time, plant-based nutrition support group meeting. We had a room for 80 people. We had 123 show up. We said, well, let's do it again. So usually those things would drop down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept the same room thinking it would drop down closer to 80, 90. We had 143 people show up. And we both said, well, this is great because Beaumont has a auditorium of 400 or 500. 2 days before our third meeting, they kicked us out because they were promoting standard American diet.
Yeah.
And here we were plant-based.
That's
Plus,
horrible.
yeah. So we had 2 days. I called every church, synagogue, every high school, every place around. And here we are 13 years later. And every live event that we had up till COVID was at the Birmingham school system auditoriums, either Groves or Seaholm. And while I've had opportunities to go to other places, you will find I'm a very loyal person. They open up their hearts, their doors to me, and they've been great ever since. Big shout out to the Birmingham people who've always been there and found a way to allow us to have these meetings. And over those next 10 years, we would have a meeting once a month. We bring in a superstar, multiple superstars, people, every name that you've ever heard of that touches plant-based has been on the stage at plant-based nutrition, except for 1 or 2, whoever they are,
Well, it's me and Richard, of course. It's me and
Yeah.
Richard haven't been there yet.
Well, I'm glad that you both have just said that you'll come and talk. I like that.
Of course. That's awesome.
I appreciate that. And so we would have somewhere between 500 to 1,000 people start showing up. And, we're expanding as an organization. And we had 53, what we called small groups that were outside of Michigan. And we were going to expand nationally. But then we got COVID.
Oh,
When
yes.
COVID hit,
Yeah.
I remember, I'll never forget, it was in January when I first heard about it. We had a meeting early, an event early February, and before they were shutting everything down, I shut us down because the majority of our members and people who showed up were 55 and older. And I couldn't live with the fact of hurting anybody with COVID, not knowing really
Right.
what it would be. So we had to go totally virtual. And it took a while, because we had, if there's one good thing about COVID is it taught older people how to use Zoom. Look at me, right?
We all know how.
Yeah, we all know how to do it.
Yeah, it forced everybody in my work too. I mean, we had to switch over to, we use Teams
deal.
to communicate with each other, and we were suddenly forced into this virtual environment. And
Yeah.
what a
Which is,
difference
it's a world of difference, but it's good. It's good.
it is.
Because I wouldn't necessarily be able to go gallivant around the United States. It's a lot easier to Zoom it sometimes. And now we've been doing this for quite some time. And as an organization, we've grown dramatically. Now, I'm going to just say this one time to anybody who's listening. When we say we're a nonprofit, that is so true. We are a nonprofit. And it has been a struggle to keep things afloat. I'm so proud of the fact that we still basically come close to breaking even. Some months we lose a little bit, some we gain a little bit. I have not, unfortunately, ever had a big donation, a big sponsor. We've had chances for sponsorship, but they were from oil-based companies, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
So here we are today. We've got some 250,000 followers. We've got a membership that 14 days you could try us out, and then it's a whopping $10 a month. And we still have activities. We literally have virtually something going on to connect you with my saying of together as one. We have an activity almost every single day now with some
That's
of the
great.
greatest hosts, facilitators. We're global in reach. And, the one thing is that in about, I don't know, about 2 years ago, I tried to create the Sage Circle Alliance, which was a union.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was going to be a union of plant-based people, not for the Dr. Gregors or the Dr. Furmans or the Dr. Bernards or the 10 people at the very top. I don't, they're doing fine. Okay. They got their sponsorship, they got their donations, they're making their money, they're fine. But it's everyone else below that line that is financially struggling. And some of the names that have gone out of business, it's so sad. They've gone out of business because of it. And I got the list of all the people who've had to close their doors because while before COVID, I thought we were making a nice trajectory. COVID stopped everything, and today it's less. We don't have as many restaurants.
Oh yeah.
It's just less of everything.
Yeah.
So I am very, very proud of the fact that we've got an active board, we've got committed employees, and we're doing wholesale changes. And I'm excited to share with you that the first thing was a name change. Plant-based support is our new name.
I like it.
Because from plant-based support, we could do plant-based support membership, speaking events. We could spawn off a whole bunch of different subjects from those three words.
Are you still doing Sage as well, or that?
No. The Sage Circle Alliance started with 53 members, but of those 53, there were really only 4 to 8 putting in the time now. Both Meryl Fury, who cares about children and children nutrition. I care about older people's nutrition. And I didn't really know Meryl too well, but I know her as a sister right now. And my wife approved her as a friend. So she's the first girl in my life that's wife approved. So that tells you something about, the quality of person that she is. But together we put a year and a half of 60 hours a week to try and create this union. But at the end, unfortunately, Richard and Suzanne, people needed to pay their bills and they couldn't commit all the time it takes and they just couldn't understand that if they were to give up some of their time and invest it in the union, then people would buy within the 53 people.
Yeah.
The speaker, they could get it from within. If they needed to get a dietitian, they can get it within, a health coach, they get it within.
Yeah.
But after a year and a half, my time needed to be spent to expand plant-based support.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
I mean, I love the idea though that you had. I mean,
It is a great idea.
well,
Yeah.
we froze it. We didn't say goodbye to it. We just said we're going to
oh,
stop
good.
right now because Meryl's got a lot of activity in the child nutrition world, and I'm trying to have plant-based support become right now they are the only I would say they are the only organization that has daily support because the gap is this. If you have heart disease, diabetes, certain forms of cancer, whatever ails you, you want to lose weight.
Mhm.
You go to your doctor, and what does the doctor do? Certainly, not enough of them ask, "What do you eat?"
No.
But they'll always say to you, "Hey, why don't you eat a little more fruits and vegetables, cut back on the ultra processed, and here's 3 pills, and I'll see you in a year."
Yeah.
That's it. You're on your own. You're
Yeah.
on your own.
And the doctor's usually pretty overweight as well. Yeah. And
Well,
pretty
we did a
unhealthy and
whole.
taking a lot of pills. So, yeah.
It's funny when you say things. I've experienced so much over the 14
Mhm.
years. We did a whole feature on doctors teaching doctors, where I had 4 plant-based doctors: Dr. Breaky, Dr. Swanor, Carolyn Trapp, and Dr. Khan. And
Mhm.
we brought in all the local doctors in Michigan to teach them all about plant-based nutrition. And some of these guys would come up to me and they'd say, "Hey, I'm plant-based." And I'd take my finger and I'd poke their big fat belly and go, "No, you're not. No,
Yeah. I mean, it's always so obvious.
you're
yeah.
not." Please,
Yeah.
please. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so plant-based support now is, like I said, new name, new website, and it's very user-friendly. And the thing that's exciting me the most, one of the two things is in the next maybe 60 days, we're going to be fully automated. So if you want to have a plant-based group in your town, we have what we call an ambassador program. You just have to sign up, fill it out, and then we'll contact you. If you want to
Nice.
volunteer, sign up, fill out some information, we'll get back with you. So we're going to have a whole new face, a whole new name, and be fully automated with AI intelligence, which is only because we're changing. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break. I think after 14 years, I've given myself a hiatus for a while, and I'm actually going to be taking a trip with my wife. I don't mind saying it, around the world.
Nice.
To
Nice.
be,
Very
Nice.
nice.
I found a cruise ship that will make plant-based food. I just sent them 40 recipes to choose from. And during that time, I'm in good hands. Brian Denstead, who does Real Men Eat Plants, has become a very close person to me over the last year and a half. He's helped do all the AI work, all the name change, the website redesign, and he's going to be the president of Plant-Based Support. So when I
Nice.
come back, I get to kind of observe and watch because it's funny when we have our meetings, you guys, it's me, and then 22 years later is the next person, and 30 years later is the next 4 employees. So
Yeah.
it's time. Like it's time to turn the page. And while I'm still very OCD, or I'm still going, the fact is at some point you have to say, I got to let go of this and move it to that next generation, and we're there. So having a excitingly active board finally, and having great employees is going to allow us to continue to help people with this lifestyle change. Because as I reflect back, the one thing I will promise you is lifestyle change. It's not easy. And, in the past, I'd say,
Not
No.
simple, not
here's a
easy.
list of things you got to do. Now, my new thing is go find a good psychologist. You need to have some help during these tough times, because I remember all the times I'd go out to dinner and everyone was eating terribly and I'm sitting there playing with a salad, or as I mentioned earlier, trying to do the travel thing is it's daunting, or just the peer pressure you get from the people you love the most who say,
Right.
"Oh, come on, take a bite of this or take a bite of that." And you're like, "No, and I'm a tough guy with that stuff." A lot of people will say, "Okay, I'll just take a bite," or changing
Yeah,
the,
I'm tough about it too. Yeah.
yeah, it's so tough. And you need to have support. And you can't have a once a year doctor meeting or twice a year be all your support. That's why we are plant-based support, because we recognize that you need somebody to hold your hand who's like-minded if every day. And we could do that now. So
Exactly.
that's kind of like
Exactly.
the overall story to the current. I wrote a couple notes of things that I want to bring up just to like, and then I'm open to any questions you guys have, because this has been fun.
Yeah.
I get,
Well, yeah, and I have a question too.
all right.
Well,
So
I can wait for my questions till the end if you want.
I want to show everybody this. This is a cool thing. Let me show it. I'm going to make this thing look even cooler. You ready? Here we go.
Oh.
Ooh, blue
Wow.
glow, lava lamp. I did some real research on this hydrogen water and the
Oh, I've been drinking
microplastic.
that. Yeah.
And this is it. I've got two of them.
Oh,
And
nice.
I will start my day every day drinking 6 bottles of these. That allows me not to have to eat right away because water will fill you up.
I only do one, but that's good.
6
Yeah.
bottles?
Yeah. So
How
it's
much
like,
is that?
how much are the,
How much, no, how much water is that? How much water is that you're
about
taking
12
in?
ounces.
Okay, so 12, 24, okay, 48. I was just
Yeah. I
trying
mean,
to
I
back
knock
up.
out close to 60 ounces in the morning.
Okay, well,
Yes, the answer is I don't leave the house, but I like the idea. It takes out all the impurities of the water and the
Yeah,
microplastics.
me too.
So
nice.
that's
Yeah,
something.
Dr. Furman actually talked about it. That's what got me into it
Yep.
because he does that as well.
The hydrogen water?
Yeah, and by the
Yeah.
way, I'm here to say, I'm not going to ever say something bad about anybody because I may not agree with them, but if they're trying to help people get healthy, God bless them. And
Yeah.
when you
Yeah,
mentioned Dr.
I agree.
Furman, he's
Mhm.
one of the real good ones. He is, and I'll get to him in a second because actually he was my third point on my little list.
Okay.
The next
Yeah.
thing for everybody is about a year and 8 months ago, I had to get a stent.
Mm.
And I was flat out depressed for 3 months. As it turned out, it was not because of me being whole food plant-based, no oil. It had to do with a hugely elevated lipoprotein little a. Now, I don't know if you've heard of it. Most people have
I
not.
have.
A lot of doctors have not. I'm right now just finishing my second year of a 3-year phase 3 study where I give a couple pints of blood every 3 months. And I'm in the study. Whether I'm getting the placebo or not, we'll find out in a year.
Mhm.
My point being is to everybody here, anybody who's listening, and every speech I ever give, any talk I ever give, please get a lipid panel done for your lipoprotein little a, because this is a genetic piece, meaning what your number is at 2 is the same number you are at 67. But in my
Interesting.
the number should be under 50. Mine was 347.
Ooh.
So when I asked the question,
Wow. Wow.
why did I have to get a stent? Well, it was because my LAD was 99% blocked.
That's not the good, that's
And
the bad one. Mhm.
yeah, and the plaque was from the high elevated LP little a. So without getting too sciencey, because that ain't my thing, I'm just asking people, please have it checked for your own good. Under 50, good to go. If it's something much more, the good news is help is on the way. There are 3 drug companies smelling money who are in phase 3. They're all promising very good results in phase 2. For example, some say you'll take the shot and it will improve it 70, 80, and 90%.
It's
And that's
good.
all I need is a 90% or 80% drop.
Yeah, of
Good again.
course.
The other
Now,
point
this
I
has
want to,
nothing to do with cholesterol, right? If your
no,
cholesterol numbers were good before this, right?
my
It
cholesterol,
has nothing to do with that. Yeah.
when I was as sick as I could be, my cholesterol, LDL, HDL was 348.
Ooh.
That
Okay.
was high.
Now, today it's at 77.
Whoa. That's
Now,
the
I will
total? The
total.
total?
Total. Now it's a
Wow.
total, but it's a combination of, like it's interesting when you listen to Dr. Esselstyn. The lowest I could get to was like 130, 140. And he's like, oh, you're good. As long as you're eating plant-based, you're good. Don't worry about the number.
Yeah.
My cardiologist at the Cleveland Clinic said, I would like you to be on Repatha or Crestor or something.
Mhm.
Let's use the best of both worlds.
Mhm.
I was at a stopping point. Do I just listen to Esselstyn or listen to my cardiologist?
Mm.
The truth is, I listened to my cardiologist on this one. So
Yeah,
I'm on
your personal
Repatha.
path. Yeah.
So the combination of eating plant-based and
Mhm.
taking a shot every 2 weeks, which is, a shot in the stomach, not that big a deal for most people, not for me.
Mhm.
And the combination is my cholesterol number is 77.
Yeah.
So that all being said, the last little point, and then I'll try to be quiet, is we have a live event October 9th. We've had a few of them, and this one is going to be featuring the subject of cancer. And I'm inviting Dr. Joel Furman to give the talk. We start at 6:30. There's a restaurant that will open up at 4 o'clock called Taste of Ethiopia, not too far from the venue, that's going to serve a whole food, plant-based, no oil meal. So you could come to the event,
Nice.
go have dinner, then go to the event. And what I could share with anybody who's never been to our events, there's something truly magical when you have 3,000 to 5,000 people in the hallway. It's almost to me spiritual because it's a vibe I don't get anymore unless I have a live meeting. So I just want to welcome anybody to not only join us for the event or become a member, and for those really gifted people, if they wrote a check and want to sponsor us or donate to us, God bless. Thank you. I've been struggling.
Yeah, if you can include those links as well, I'll include all those links in the
We'll put them at the
description.
end there.
Appreciate that. All right, so that's you got my story. That's it.
Yeah.
There's more to it,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
my story.
I did have a few questions, of course. Well, the first question that came to mind is how many years after your father and his brothers had the heart attacks, how many years before your heart issues? Was it a number of years?
40-ish. You know,
Yeah.
my dad, I said he lived through it, but it was the only time of my life as a kid I saw him cry for 4 straight days. And he lived
Wow.
till he was like 72. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, he lived on, but he was never the same because his family had passed away.
Right.
Spreads.
Right.
Brothers are important. Yeah.
And he was the youngest one. So,
Mm.
he was
Because the reason I asked is I wondered if you made lifestyle changes after they had their issues, but obviously if it was years later, you didn't.
no, because
You probably thought you were invincible because you were young. I'm trying to say.
we all do, don't we?
Most likely because you.
Yeah. I mean, I could share with you that, like it's a shocking world that we live in that my mom passed away, unfortunately, from lymphoma when I was 20. And I watched her for 3 years die slowly.
Wow.
And I would, I'd be there because my dad was a workaholic and she's the one who really brought me up. And I'd see her in the morning just rocking in pain because she just finished a radiation or chemo, thing. And, she was a woman of 180 pounds. And when she passed away, she was 80 pounds.
Mm.
And, unfortunately,
Wow.
she was one of the three loves of my life, my mom, my wife, Tracy. And you could see the picture of the greatest dog that I could have ever had in my life.
Yes.
I just bring it close. That's my little Sophie, so you can see who I have in every picture. It's not my wife or my mom. All right. Which if we're gonna laugh, here's the best joke I ever heard in my life. If you ever really want to know who loves you, put your wife and your dog in the trunk for about 3 hours. Then open up the trunk, see who's happy to see you.
It's definitely going to be the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, lifestyle change. I mean, even for me 14 years ago, there was so little. You had the China study, you had Forks Over Knives, you had Dr.
Yeah.
Esselstyn. That's all you had.
Yeah.
Mike had not emerged as like superpower wisdom and all that. And Neil
Right.
Bernard was that. That was it. And isn't it shocking, you guys, that 14 years later, nothing has changed? Meaning,
It's amazing.
no new science. The
It's
science
so
is still good.
shocking.
The movies,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
The Game Changer was a great one or good one or
So
whatever.
good.
But Forks Over Knives and the China study, There's been nothing like it. And, it's shocking to me. But again, that's where I guess I put my chest out proud and I'm so happy because I think we're hitting where people need help the most, which is support.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this is so
I mean, just
simple, such a simple concept, but it is
Yeah.
not easy to actually do it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Well,
One of my clients, because we do coaching, obviously with our name, and one of my clients, he hangs on to me because he needs the support,
Mhm.
and he knows what he's doing, but he likes to talk it through, and I like to be there for him for his questions about diet as we go along, and so support is needed no matter where you are. I think in the journey.
Absolutely.
I agree. And let me see. Hey, how are you? I wanted to ask you, Rich, like, how are you feeling? Because I know that you've gone through a little bit of a hiatus of sorts recently after trying to build up muscles and doing some
Oh
mountain
yeah.
crazy
Well, yeah, I
stuff.
had a I tore my tendon in my ankle, so I recently had stem cells injected 6 weeks ago because I want to avoid surgery. And so far so good. I wear a brace for another few weeks, and they're going to do another X-ray to see how it's healing. But yeah, so far so good. I
Did
mean,
they
I've
did they inject the stem cells right into that area?
yeah,
The
yeah, they
reason
did.
why I asked, about a year, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, I had something called plomyalgia rheumatica, and that was one of those things where my shoulders and my buttocks area, I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain in
No,
those
the
two.
joints. Yeah.
Right. Inflammation, internal inflammation.
It's
It got,
painful.
well, it was miserable, but
Yeah,
life's beautiful and then life's not as
yeah,
beautiful.
right.
And I went to orthopedic surgeon. He's like, cortisone, new hip. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Then I
No,
went to a rehabilitation doctor. Steroid, then we'll wean you off. I'm like, not good for older people. Forget that.
Mm.
I ended up going with, I had a choice between peptides or soft wave TRT. I talked to Joel Furman. We tried the soft wave. Now, as it turned out, that was not the solution. But when you said stem cell, what that soft wave does is it creates micro abrasions in the affected area, and then your own stem cells come to clean it up and try to repair it. For me, it was just time. I had to go 4.5 months of not moving. I wake up, lay on a couch, go to bed. And that was,
yeah,
think of the
that's
laptop.
tough.
I,
Yeah,
I have a laptop and a very understanding wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it healed now, or?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, it's amazing that yes, today I feel great, and I'm kind of looking at the world each day because as we get older, there are things that happen that you can't explain. Like, why am I sore? Or why am I limping a little bit? Or why is this feeling like I have those days,
Mhm.
and yet today's a good day. I got to go to the gym. I got to walk 5 miles.
Good
I'm
job.
here with you. It's a good day. So it's allowed me as I get older to kind of like appreciate the good days
Mhm.
because the other
Sure,
ones,
sure.
are going to happen. They're just going to happen.
Yeah, you mentioned about peptides. A friend of mine, he had a tear in his shoulder, and he actually tried BPH 157, I believe, and he's had positive results. I mean, I'm not giving medical advice to anybody, but his shoulder healed, and they wanted him to have surgery, and
Ah, hey,
so there's some amazing things that are out there. But again, I'm not encouraging anybody, but it's
no,
just it
what
made
you're
me think
saying
of it.
is
Yeah.
there are, what's scary to me is that there are so many people who go to that doctor says surgery, and they're like, okay, sign me up.
I know.
That's the majority of people.
Yes.
I'm not that person. Okay.
Me
I'm going to
neither. Me neither.
acupuncture. I'm going to look at rest. I'm going to look at everything I can. Now, thank God there are certain surgeries that you have to have, getting a stent, I needed it. I
Oh
absolutely,
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes yeah,
you
they're
know,
life saving. Yeah,
but my
yeah.
wife had a sciatic nerve flare up and it continued for months. And she is doing self-injected peptides. And after maybe a month or two, it all went away. Now, is it the peptides?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
the
amazing.
time?
Yeah,
Who cares? Who knows? She's better.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be. I told Suzanne about the surgery they wanted to do if this didn't work. It would be 2 months of keeping my. I can't do any weight bearing on my ankle, so I'd have to use one of those scooters for 2 months and get around. And I have stairs, and I no way. No, I want to do that.
As a dog, all that stuff would be very
Yeah.
difficult.
Well, plus I remember you before you got into like, I'm going to change how I look, Rich Hubbard. I that's how long I've known you.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple of
Yeah.
times when you were, coming up with, hey, let's see the muscle. Let's see. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty good
Yeah.
stuff. In fact, you motivated me
Yeah.
to get back and work heavier in the gym, not heavier weights, but now.
Right. Just work
And by the
harder, yeah.
way, I just read something and it's so true. It says, if you were to do anything, you think, oh, the most important thing is eating well. That is still true. But if you had to choose between weightlifting or walking, I just read where they said you need to keep weightlifting.
Weightlifting is so. As a physical
Yes.
therapist, I
Yes.
100% agree.
Yeah,
Weightlifting, yeah.
and I'm thankful because I live close to a gym, and I walk there. I walk home. I do my hour and a half workout. But I mean, I like it. Like I like it. Working out. You could get older and still have some muscles. Everybody.
Well, you don't lose them if you use them, you don't lose them. The
Right.
reason people are
Yeah,
losing
if you
them
don't
is because
use
they
them.
don't
Yeah.
use them.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. I mean, that's my
Yeah, sarcopenia. That's a
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but I was going to say sarcopenia. That's something that our audience definitely wants to avoid, and the only way to do that is to keep building muscle.
Just
We
go
got
to
to
the
keep
gym.
working at it.
Go to the
Yeah.
gym and work out.
Yeah.
Use progressive overload, 3 sets of 10. Keep adding a little bit more. If you can't do it, then do 12, do 14, do 16 reps. Just keep going until you can pick up the heavier one. Just consistency. That's what it's
Just
all
show
about.
up. That's my thing to everybody. Just show up.
Consistency. I always say earn a C in gym class. Just keep going
Yeah.
consistently. And
Yeah.
don't rip anything.
Yep.
Just go consistently.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even the
Exactly.
heavyweight stuff. I mean, I showed you early on the old picture of Paul, and I could tell you how much weight I was lifting at that point.
Yeah.
I laugh at myself because from then, which wasn't that long ago, 20 years ago,
Mhm.
now I've probably reduced 2/3 of my strength. But what I haven't lost is my ability to show up 5 days a week and spend the time.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
Remember, I lost
Yeah.
my
To me,
humility.
it's not about being. To me, it's not about being the biggest. Getting the biggest muscles. It's about. I'd rather just be healthy. Healthy
Being
amount of
healthy is
muscle.
good. Being
Yeah.
healthy is good, but when you look so amazing, that attracts people towards you. They're like, "What in the heck is that person doing? How can I get that? I want that too." And that helps us
It-
Well,
to
that's true too.
represent this lifestyle.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good point.
I like, yes, I'm 67, but I still feel pretty darn good and strong. I feel,
Yeah,
there.
it's
And
important.
it's interesting when you get around your friends and all you hear is all their ailments and their doctor
So sick.
appointments.
Yeah.
And they look
Yeah.
at, they're like, what about you? I go, well, I've got stuff, but I'm not a diabetic and I'm not obese and my knees aren't hurting me and my arms,
Yeah.
none of that stuff.
That's right.
That's
Exactly.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
and
doing
by the way,
good.
the Zoom, it helps. You can get rid of some of the wrinkles with Zoom. So,
Sure.
Right setting.
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there any other questions? Because I've enjoyed this tremendously, and I did send a message. Susan, if you would kindly shoot an email, I gave you the website on the chat box, so you got that. But if
Okay.
you replace the word and just Paul at Plant-Based Support, shoot me your information so then I could pass that on to Jessica, and she would love to have you come speak.
I'd love to. Yeah. It'd
Richard,
be awesome. Yeah.
I got something bigger for you. You should be a host with us. You
Mm.
should. You inspire people, and I would like
Really
to.
is, yeah.
I'd like you to speak, but I think that you could be I've got some 22 hosts. Think about each host as being a day of the month, so a different subject. So if you take a little time and jump into our website, you'll see what we offer, and I am
Yep.
certain, as a health coach and more, you could help us as a host, but for 1 hour a month. And yes, I am pimping the organization, but we've got to have, our goal is to have 2 activities a day,
Sure.
every day of the month.
Yep.
We're halfway there. So if you would consider
Yep.
it, just send me an email, let me know, and I'll make sure it happens. And we'll do that is around your time frame. We'll blow you up as far as letting people know more about you. Keep in mind,
Yep.
at about 280,000 followers.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
like, I want people to know you.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's awesome.
Well, it's you know what it is, guys? It's dedication and hard work. And it's 60 hours a week for 14 years
That's
with
right.
a very loving, understanding wife.
Mhm.
And I mean that. Like, I'm blessed. And that's why it's here, my cute little story.
Yeah, you have a well-earned vacation. Yeah,
Well,
a
my
well-earned
cute
vacation with your wife.
So I guess I'll leave everybody with my little personal laugh story. I've been married for 25 years. And 25 years ago, my wife, who's 8 years younger, had a bunch of suitors going after her. And then
Oh,
she met
boy.
me. And my thing was, hey, baby, I was in the hey, baby time. You stick with me, I'll show you the world. Now, that was my thing. I didn't know what it meant. I thought it would be different. We ended up getting married. 25 years later, for our anniversary, I got her 2 tickets to be on a boat with me to see the world.
There you go. Promise is kept.
I kept my promise.
I
You
love
did.
that. I love that.
Awesome. I
So,
love it. Yeah. Today's actually my 38th
Yeah, you're
wedding
gonna have
anniversary.
a lot of
So
fun.
I'm like, happy about that.
that's wonderful.
It
That's
is.
wonderful.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Very happy times. So awesome. Yeah.
Where does your cruise leave from?
Miami.
Mm.
Miami. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So we leave. I live in Fort Myers for about 4 months a year, 5 months a year. So instead of being down in Fort Myers, we're going to end up seeing a lot of different places and have memories that will be a lifetime. And most importantly, it'll be just her and I. And I will not be doing a whole lot of work because I said I'm dedicating this journey to you and I.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, enjoy it. Yeah.
I already bought a suit, which I hate wearing. I bought a sports coat, which I hate wearing. And I signed up for dancing lessons and, all the things I never would do. But I realized that all these years, 14 years, she's put up with me and the work I've done. And, she's been there. So it's time for me to return the favor.
You guys are going to have so much fun.
Yes, you are. Yes. Yeah.
You're going to have so much fun. She
Yeah.
has great ideas. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm
Definitely.
magical. That's all I can say. I'm very excited about it. And
Yeah.
it takes a lot for me to feel this way. And I feel that way. So.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'd love to touch base again and actually hear about your cruise afterwards.
You know
Yeah.
what? You put it on your calendar, July, August of next year. Let's
We'll be here. Let's do it
let's
again.
run it back. Let's see. Here's what we'll find out. Is Rich going to be a host at Plant Based Support?
I think you will.
I think
I
he
do.
will.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is Susan going to be lined up to give some talks? Not one, a couple
I
talks.
believe I will.
I
Yeah.
think you will.
I think it's going to happen.
Will I run it back, give you an update of what full automation has done to the organization? I'll do that.
You're going to
And
be
then
able
I'll
to
be your
do it.
travel guide and I'll let you know just how plant-based, no oil region cruise was. Now will tell you, I said, just as long as you have oatmeal and soy milk, I'm good for breakfast or lunch.
Yeah.
And as long as you have kale, I'll make the dressing. Don't worry about it. I said, but here's 40 entrees. I'm not going to make any of them and batch cook them. So you don't have to, you can make enough for 10 meals. Do the math. If you do it 10 meals and I give you 40 recipes, that's 400. It won't be that much work. So I'll be glad to report back to everybody how it went.
Yeah, I'd love to hear how it went. Yeah, that'd
Me
be
too.
awesome.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, and here's the coolest thing. If God forbid I miss a meal, oh well, oh my God, I'll live.
Yeah.
We've all learned that.
Well, yeah, before we sign up, you remind me what Doug Evans said. You're familiar with Doug Evans, right?
Yes.
The sprouting guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he travels, if he doesn't find some food that he likes, he doesn't eat. He figures the fasting is not going to kill him for a day. So
I do like every other month, couple day fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And it's amazing. You could go 2 days without eating, you'll still be okay, and it clears you out, restarts you, and you
Exactly.
feel pretty good at the end. You could drink. I drink some water along the way. That's all I'll have.
Of course.
Yep.
Not a
Yep.
big deal. Not a big deal. But again, the important thing is that we are here to help all of us. You, Suzanne, we're all here to help people get better.
That's right.
Definitely. Definitely.
That's all I care about. That's all I've ever cared about.
Yep.
And so I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, thank
We
you.
appreciate you
Really
sharing the
appreciate
story
it.
too. You're going to inspire a lot of people.
Yeah, so inspiring.
Well, thank you. All right. So
Okay.
I will haunt you both again, July and August. Just send me a message.
We'll
And
see.
we'll come back. In the meantime, as soon as I hang up, I'm going to be talking to Jessica about both of you.
Okay, I
That'd be great.
appreciate that.
That'd be
Thank you
great.
very much.
Yep.
Yeah, and please, like I said, send me a quick email with just general information so she can contact you if you don't mind.
Okay, not at all, not a problem. Okay.
Hey, Richard, let me see your muscles. Come on, let me see it one time. Come on. Wait, pull that shirt back.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I say that because when I saw you, I'm like, okay, I'll show people. Hey, keep working out. It feels good.
Oh yeah. I'll never stop. I'll never stop.
Feels great.
That and tight shirts, they look great.
And I know you won't
Yeah.
stop either.
And I'm too wired. When I have something, that I want to do, I don't always do it, but I'm going to try, and I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to.
That same attitude. Just keep going. Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let go. You do. But once again, thank you for having me, and I hope to see you both soon.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Enjoy the cruise too.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
just remember, everyone, we're together as one. If we're going to make this work, there's no egos. We just have to work together for a common goal, and that is a healthier planet. Stop beating up on these animals, and you be
Yes,
healthy along the way.
Yeah,
Definitely. Definitely.
100% agree.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Yep. Bye.
I know.